Hey there, everyone. Welcome once again to another TSCN Wrestling update. I'm your host, commentator, and person that sadly has to run everything around here, Samuel Lewis. And oh my goodness, do we have a bunch for you for this update. It's going to be a fantastic set of matches next week, but we need to update you on everything that's going on backstage here. So first, a little bit behind the scenes. I have been very busy building a whole bunch of new wrestlers. There are so many people that have signed on to this, and I thank every single one of them. Eventually, they will all show up. In fact, there's going to be a little something special that's going to be going on that I probably should have pulled the schedule up for, but I can do that while I am talking. So a bunch of things for us to talk about. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's the thing. With all of those characters that I've been building, it means I've got a bunch of little stories just hanging around in the background. I'm very curious on, how all of that's going to play out and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. But there are going to be a couple of characters that are going to premiere. One of them, an actual person, and two of them, people that are characters that I've played again. So I'm pulling more characters into the roster. And plus, I've got some other people that I am working on that are a hybridization of both. Interesting. But that won't be for a while, I don't think. I've still got to get the entire group of those. If you know literally everything that I do, including people I work with and stuff, that might have been a hint. But enough of that. Let's get into the things. There will be a little bit behind the scenes of me talking on one of these matches, so I'm going to break the fourth wall one more time, but I always like to do the fourth wall breakery, at the beginning, and then get into the universe as we were. So, several things to remind everyone of. Danny has indeed been put on medical leave. His match with Kevin was too extreme. Essentially, Kevin was sent by Samantha to beat the ever-loving daylights out of Danny, and I'll be darned if he didn't succeed. So Danny has been put on medical leave. That does mean that we will not be seeing Danny or Sue in this next episode, as Sue is taking the time to stay with her husband. More about Sue later, in fact. There has been an announcement. Joelbert and Savis have made an announcement. They are making it official. They are making themselves a brand new tag team. This was a tag team of requirements because the honor of the Horde beforehand, but they thought they worked so well and were so devastating that they are making it official. They are now the Horde. Joelbert and Savis, the two characters from Azeroth that are also members of the Horde, naturally have now turned it into a tag team. So more on that in a bit as well. Bill, congratulations, Bill Minks. You put your money where your mouth was. You proved that the fighting machine learning technology, or FML, again, nothing else that could stand for, the FML technology works. And as a result, after a match with me, the head of this operation, to prove that the technology works, it was enough for me. I am impressed. So welcome in Bill Minks, as he is again allowed to continue with his FML technology as a test on our wrestlers. We've got varied people with varied styles. I'm very curious about what he'll do with it. So we'll see. Always good to test some tech. I'm for it. Speaking of Sue, she's not prone to bursts of anger like this. In fact, it was very shocking for all of us, the viewers and those of us in the production team, of course, because there's more than just me. Not really, but we're going to go with it. The members of the production team were also very shocked to find out that Sue was so angry about Danny's injuries that she tried to ambush Samantha in the backstage area. And the fight led to Sue being beat up as well. She was not beat up as badly as Danny was. Weird considering that Samantha took a chair to her. But still, she's managed to get through it. We did have a talk with her. It's like, this isn't you. What's going on? And essentially, when you touch Danny, she's going to go mama bear a little bit, just like if you had done something like that to me, she'd probably go mama bear. This is what happens when you have family members inside of wrestling organizations. So as it is, she's calmed down now, although she said this won't be the last of the VFD having to deal with the disciples. She has made a very clear statement about that. And as a result, as I toss my hoodie off to the side and it makes a clear sound, I wouldn't be thinking this is the last of this rivalry. Just gonna say that. And then, my word, this has become a league of people putting money where their mouth is, as Jacob Warlord Carpenter did indeed do that and took out both Mighty Michael Mays, Shay Jones, the Madman. And even though he was not scheduled as part of the match and turned it into a fatal four-way, our champion, Donovan, also was taken out by Jacob Warlord Carpenter in a fatal four-way match. And my word, what can I say? He's earned it. He's earned an opportunity of which we will be talking about later on. Speaking of later on, now that we've got that update out of the way, let's get into the matches that you can look forward to, shall we? So first of all, Bill's test went well, as we said, so it's time for him to have another one. Mighty Michael Mays is going to take out on Bill Minks. Bill specifically wanted a high flyer, someone that has these hard to predict move sets and stuff like that is very, very depending on the situation, and he wants to test his machine learning on that. Makes sense. So Mighty Michael Mays has been picked to give him that particular test. The second match is going to be a tag team match should we find someone to fight them. I should say that Gilbert and Savis came into my office, said, "We are the Horde, give us a belt." To which I said, "I don't care if you are the King of England. You do not come in here and just grab a belt off of me. That's not how this works. You have to earn a belt, even if you are quite formidable." I'll admit I had to breathe into a paper bag after dealing with those two, but I stood my ground. As the head of this organization, I am not going to just let someone come in and demand a title without it being handed to them. And as a result, they are going to have a tag team match in order to earn that belt. The thing is, on a possibly unrelated, we're currently looking for someone that will be the tag team against them. On a completely unrelated note, the unstable portal is acting up again, and the first time it flared up, the air was really cold, and then the second time it flared up, a gigantic mushroom rolled out from it. So do with that what you will, I guess. It's the portal does weird things, but just for some reason, I decided to tell you guys about that after this. No godly idea why. Also, the Warlord is not, in our next match, the Warlord is not content with just dealing with the men's division. He wants the Blue Lions to conquer it all, his house to have all the glory. And as a result, he's bringing in his second in command, his right-hand woman. They are equals as far as he's concerned. Rebecca Carpenter makes her premiere in TSCN Wrestling. The Bruiser, she is called, as she wears gauntlets that will allow her to bruise with the finest. She may be a queen, but she's certainly no pushover, as she has heard, as indeed the Warlord has heard, the throwing around that Samantha has done. Let's just say she has been bragging a lot. In fact, there's a quote here I have here. "I always knew it was going to go this way. Sue cannot face me from the front, and now it has been made clear she can't face me from the back either," making reference to her ambushing her backstage. So she's essentially now throwing it down that she is the strong woman in this league. And as a result, Rebecca is now coming to disillusion her of that as she enters the fray on the behest of the warlord and on the behest of herself, honestly, to say, no, there is a conqueror that is arriving and you will be conquered. So match 3, Rebecca versus Samantha, and it will be an Extreme Rules match because the Blue Lions insist upon them. Sometimes we will make them do normal matches, but they love a good Extreme Rules match. It's the same way it's done where they're from. And who am I to tell them no? And then match 4, a match with no beef whatsoever. Occasionally, you just have a wrestling match. And in this case, it's Shay versus Samara. They just wanted to have a good old-fashioned match. I believe through the mask, Shay said he just wanted to have fun with someone. Honestly, it's very hard to tell what Shay says through that mask, but I'm pretty sure that that's what he said, so we're going to give him that. And then finally, match 5, the main event of the night, as you will. Yet another title match, but this is a title match for the men's championship. Donovan was not pleased at how that fatal 4-way went, and he said very specifically, if it had been one-on-one, he would have won. And Jacob took the challenge and said, all right, you, me, Hell in a Cell, Extreme Rules, and the only way that I will accept is to make it a championship title match. To which Donovan said in response, you have your opportunity, a title match it is, and I will win. So the clash of the egos as Jacob Warlord Carpenter goes up against Donovan, our champion, because he only goes by Donovan. It's the only name you need. So those are our matches that we're doing. And you might have heard me say the phrase Hell in a Cell. Yes, it is a Hell in a Cell, to which this is where I crack the fourth wall and peek through again for a teensy little second as I go, this could go badly. The other night I watched John Jagger do a Hell in a Cell match with someone, and that's what made me go, okay, so this can work. Because you want to know what happened the time that I tried a Hell in a Cell match with these two? They broke out of the cage, continued to have a fight up top of the cage, and because you can only win these matches by pinning in the arena, they never stopped. So I did do a test. I have tested all these matches. I always love doing that before I do a wrestling update, just so I don't put something in stone that may have problems. And I always do multiple tests. But this other test, they did not break out of the cell this time. So I am crossing my fingers that that was some weird anomaly that happened, because I don't even know how breaking the cell was possible. But anyway, regardless, it was an amazing moment for me personally, but it was never going to lead to an end of a match. So hopefully everything goes according to plan. They stay in the freaking cell, and then it goes. If for some reason they break out and we have this problem, I will restart the match and do it as a just Extreme Rules match and do it that way. And, you know, then we will have our actual decision. But it was ridiculous, guys. It really was. But I just wanted to tell you guys that because I know some of you'd get a laugh out of it. That sometimes you can't contain people, and it means that you're never going to finish something. So that being said, those are all the matches. That is your wrestling update. The next session of TSCN Wrestling will be on the 29th of December. But that's not the only wrestling this month. Oh, no. Once a year in December, the members of Diamond Club and those associated with Ritual Misery do the Diamond Club New Year's Eve Streamathon for Extra Life charities. Specifically the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals. We always love doing this every year. it's our whole bunch that gets together and does this, as all of the different streamers all come together and do our different things. Fantastic stuff on the schedule already, and we're not even finished putting everyone on the schedule, as it were. So it's one of those things we just got to wait for. But I always take the morning shift because, honestly, I'm one of the early risers in the bunch. There's not a lot of early risers in our bunch, and that's nothing to make fun of, but it's more along the lines of us just going, no, we don't wake up early. Are you kidding me? So as a result, I usually take the morning shift. So at 7:35 Eastern time, I will be doing a special free purview, as John Jagger calls them. I may get up with him and say, do you mind if I use the phrase free purview? But essentially doing like one of those special events that they do in actual wrestling. I'm going to do it there. We've got a couple of interesting things that I'm lining up in my head, especially depending how much time, because it's either going to go for an hour or 2 hours. We're not entirely sure yet. It depends on how many other people sign up and how many slots I need to fill. But we're definitely doing it for at least an hour. So with all of that said, join me for an early morning one at 7:35 in the morning Eastern to 8:35 at least. It may be an extra hour onto that. If it does, I will set it up accordingly. But until then, you know, we've got some special ideas. Might involve some briefcases, just saying. But once we know more for certain, then I will, of course, provide you a wrestling update to prepare you for that. It'll come fast and hard, but, you know, that's how things are going to go around here. So, that being said, that is your TSCN Wrestling update. I am really looking forward to these matches, guys, and we'll see you next time for that update. Remember, find everything at tscn.tv/wrestling. Those will give you both the wrestling updates and the episodes themselves when the VODs are done, if you can't see them live, which, of course, we do the wrestling matches live at TSCN, at TSCN Sam on Twitch. I think tscn.tv/live takes you there as well. I think. Anyway, I'll check that later. But that being said, the 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, is your next episode of TSCN Wrestling. Until then, see you guys. Cogswell. If you want to find your name in the credits, head on over to tscn.tv/support and support us at the $5 level. And thank you for your support.
This has been a production of the Samcast Network. TSCN.TV. What's your passion?
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.